are very young, you just meet somebody, the person will just ask you, what do you want to become? What do you want to become in life? And me, I don't know what I want to become. But I should tell them that I want to count money.
And that time, jam they jam people.
So you're like,
it's only jam me like twice. You don't. I know person who don't jam 10 times. Because I used to meet them at we used to do jam class. No, that lecture that we used to go for before exam.
Oh, okay. What do you call that?
You see some people, they'll say, this is my 5th time of writing jam. My own still better. Not just my 3rd time. So you cannot feel bad because some people, their situation is worse.
I don't even know the one that is worse between Maroc and Egypt.
Egypt is better.
The Egypt that took me to Cairo. See, the plane was landing like this. We just said boo 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 boo. See, I'm not even joking.
You're standing for too long.
I was like, this job is stressing me. I don't think passion should stress somebody. I don't know what passion is, but I don't think passion should give me this type of pain.
Makeup artists when they like stand.
That was when I discovered that this was not it.
The best example of follow no road.
Follow no road.
Follow no road. That's the title of this episode. C'est bon. C'est fini. Follow no road. Hey.
You don't know how to start.
Okay, so hi guys. Okay, so hi everybody. Welcome back to the Feel Proof Podcast. Welcome to our esteemed, enviable, delectable guests on today's episode. How shall we even? It's true, I know how to introduce her. Mrs. Dara.
Very important.
Adenike Christopher Junde.
Thank you so much for getting here.
Welcome. We're so happy to have you on today's episode. If you're wondering where is Agent Dibs, where is Dikwa, don't worry, he's here. Please say hello, Dikwa.
Hi everyone.
Yeah,
behind the camera.
He's behind the camera today, but even though he's with us in spirit and in truth.
You know.
Right. So as a form of introduction, this is the format. Introduce yourself, your handwork, and tell us one thing you are currently failing at or you recently failed at in a bite size. Over to you.
Okay. Hi everyone. So nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Adenike Dara Junde, and I am the creative director of the ThaGlobetrotters Travel Limited, which is a travel company based in Nigeria. And what's the last thing you failed at? Last thing I failed at? I would say canceling a trip. That's like the most recent thing. People think, every time we put our flyers out there, we get people on board. But sometimes, some difficult times, unfortunately, nobody would sign up for your trip, and then you end up canceling the trip, and then life goes on. So
words from a wise woman. So just I feel like for clarity, there's actually gist. There's gist. And she's the premium person to give this premium gist today. So for clarity, when she says cancel a trip, she puts out these amazing group trips. And Agent Dips and I, we shouted them out in the first episode. We talked about the ThaGlobetrotters. Yep. So she puts out these trips and people subscribe to it. And then she's just told us, in fact, I had no idea until today that it's possible for one of our trips to go under subscribe because they're always whatever. The gist I said I owe you. I don't know. Tipo, is this the best time to be? You remember we said anytime we're like, hashtag pow pow pow,
yep.
Hashtag Italawa.
This is the best.
This is the best thing. We say we owe you gist of what happened on the streets of France. Okay, so in between the three both of us now, how are we saying this gist? Because
in the beginning.
So that was how we had suffered that day. I don't even know where we went to, but it was a cold. I think it was a really cold day in France. We went to Versailles. That was the day we went to Versailles. Was it the day we went to Versailles?
Yes. So we stopped at a restaurant to have lunch or late lunch, basically. And we're walking back to the hotel.
And we were using Google Maps.
Yes.
I remember that for some reason, those people decided to trust me and my Google Maps. Then we're supposed to go to one bus stop. We stayed at the bus stop. We waited. The bus should have shown up maybe in 7 minutes. 7 minutes, 10 minutes, bus did not show up. Only for us to discover that we were supposed to be at another bus stop. Now, all this is normal, except that people were frustrating this woman's life. Who was frustrating her life? I think it was you. It was Kenneth.
It was Kenneth.
So everybody, like, she's the facilitator of this group. She's being calm. She's being mature about this. She's like, you guys. Some of us are like, look at the hotel there. Let's just trek. You can't trek. It's cold. Let's just get the bus. You already have this. You guys, let's just go. This woman frustrate. Eventually, I was like, sorry guys, we are facing the wrong direction. This is where we should be going. We're going. She was going in front. Kenneth was behind making jokes. Next thing I know, she just turned back.
You're dead.
And she turns back and she continues walking with a straight face.
Like in my head, I wanted to.
She off now.
This grown woman in the middle of the road, like we're all adults, but no. And since that day, the hashtag of the agency is like the crew that travel. The hashtag has been pow Italawa. I don't know where Italawa came.
Italawa was on the boats.
After cover.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were literally outside. We were on the sea.
I mean,
we were literally in the atmosphere.
It doesn't get more outside.
It doesn't get more outside. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed that gist. Right. So, now, thank you so much for sharing about yourself. I think just from knowing you since, I met you in December last year, so it's not just April. This one I met in April. Anyway, so just from knowing you, I think you had... maybe there's something that they have forgotten in the corner.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Behind the scene.
You just chip it, choop, so that they will not forget.
So this is how it feels. I don't know.
Don't kill me. So I'm just going to say, like, your story is a fascinating one. I mean, you've over the the months, you've given me some snippets. You sent me really long voice notes, like sermon notes. I'll have been taking but it's been very beautiful, and there are so many things I want to ask you about. But I'm going to first open it up to you for you to choose the ones you want to tell us, right? So we've asked, but I think I want to give you a 30-second ad for the biggest success of your life before we go to failure. If I were to give you 30 seconds right now and say, brag about yourself, what's the biggest thing you've accomplished?
Of course, traveling 52 countries.
Amazing.
The Nigerian passport, by the way.
That's fantastic.
That's like it is a dream I never really dreamt of, like, if that's possible. I've always wanted to travel, but I would never have imagined to have achieved what I have achieved right now. Within the short period of time, everything was just like moving very fast, especially since my resignation. And
when was your first trip out of Nigeria?
That was in 2016. That was a very funny story.
Wow. This is 2024. That's how many years?
8 years.
8 years.
52 countries on a Nigerian passport.
Actually, that my first trip was just like a one-off thing. It was supposed to be I sponsored myself on the trip, and I think that trip was what like opened my mind created this interest to travel. But I didn't pursue it because
no more insufficient funds.
But I always had at the back of my mind that I want to travel. But after then, the next time I traveled again was in 2019. So there was like 3 years gap. So let's just say I started
actively traveling
in
2019.
Wow.
Which is how many years ago? So let me do the math.
That's 5 years.
5
Yeah,
years.
5 years.
Thanks so much. Okay, fantastic. That's a huge one. I mean, on a Nigerian passport.
Yeah.
Take your flowers.
Amazing. Because
I know there are flowers, but
Yeah,
I'm not so up to 1% of Nigerians. I'm not so up to 0.5%.
I feel like that in itself is like a cankerworms of failure stories. I cannot even ask you how many visa problems you have gotten into.
You know?
If we do that, that's another episode on itself. But like, I want us to zoom out, like your entire life's journey, as much as you're willing to share with us. What would you say are the 3 most notable failure stories? And for people who maybe are joining the podcast for the first time, you hear us say failure. It's not because we think, setbacks are bad or, any small challenge is a failure. The point of this podcast is to dissociate the word failure from feelings of guilt and shame and all those heavy things that don't even allow people try. So our aim is to use the word failure so much that it becomes like, bro, what did you fail at today? And, you feel nothing. So permit it for now. Hopefully you get used to it. So what are the 3 most notable failures of your life that you want to share with us today? I mean, I have 3 in mind already that I'm hoping that you will land on based on your story that I know. If you like, don't say that I'll remind you, but but yeah, just up to you. What you want to?
Okay, so I would probably start from after college. That's, we call it, do we still call it college?
Is it secondary school?
Secondary school. Is that what they call college?
High school.
High school. Okay, high school. So I have a lot of...
Yeah, an international...
So after high school, I was seeking admission into... I wanted to go to Unilag, And the reason I wanted to go to Unilag then was because there was a year I went to Unilag to write my exam. My elder sister was already a student that time. So I went to stay with her, I think 1 week before the exam day, and they are all week at that time. Anybody that have been to Unilag know what all week is. It's like a week of different type of events. And my sister we kind of vibe. We have similar vibes because she's the kind of person that say, let's go out, let's do this, let's do that. See this girl that went to school to go and prepare for exam, finding herself, coming out, wearing, all those
outside.
You think I'm being outside. You even think I remember then there was one guy that came to dance with me and said, what's clinical? What department? I said Department of Accounting. Because how can I even open my mouth to say that I can't write jam?
Wow.
Me, I had to,
you package based on who you be.
Yep.
Based on, and I don't hear story about you. Loud people say if they know say you be JJC
There's a
alone,
way they would
they
treat
will
you.
wash you. That's what me said. They claim accounting.
Can we just note how this woman just switched from
200 levels?
I went to high school to if they wash you. God.
Is able to,
switch it up. Okay. No.
Yeah. So I mean, it was kind of a fun week for me, and I was like, this school is cool, this school is cool.
Oh.
And I was like, this is the school I want to come to. So that really just automatically, I was just
what
interested.
did you want to study and why?
Because I wanted to study accounting.
Why?
I've always wanted to study accounting. So I'm going to tell you why. And she's purposely asking me why, because I'm giving her that gist before off camera. So when I was about, I think when I was about 5, 6, thereabouts, I was staying with my mom, who is like my grandma's elder sister. So she has this big business in Lagos Island. She sells like bulk of wine and all that. So anytime she comes back home from work, she will bring this bowl, we call it bowl. Bath. Big bath. Like actually, big bowl. And then money, cash. Alaja, may your soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Alaja will be counting money like this. Different denominations. I'll be like,
And you were...
And the way she used to count it.
You were not yet 8 at that time.
I wasn't 8. I was about, I think 5, 6, 7 thereabouts. And then it just clicked in my brain that I want to count money. I think I even helped her to count money.
So her counting. see her counting. Her counting. Oh my God.
I used to help her to count enough money. And you know the funniest part, if she gives me like 10 maybe
notes
10 notes of a particular currency, I would fold that 10 notes, fold it into half, and then now count it, you know, to become 20. So that it will be plenty. So that I can count well. So I just love counting money. And you know, when you are very young, you just meet somebody, the person will just ask you, what do you want to become? What do you want to become in life? And me, I don't know what I want to become. But I should tell them that I want to count money.
No truer words were ever said.
You know, so that was how I met this I think uncle or auntie, I can't remember the gender. These are our genders. So I met someone new. I said, please, what they call people that used to count money? That's how that person told me account.
Jesus.
You really believe that
like,
accountant to count money?
Nobody could change my mind about. I was so sure that I wanted to become an accountant, because how can I love to count money that much?
I'll not be able to account.
I'll
not be able to account for it.
Wow. And then I had that at the back of my mind, even when I finished primary school. I went to commercial class.
In secondary school.
There was no other motivation. You see that accounting?
You must count.
We must count them. That was why I went to commercial.
We are not bank teller.
And I started jamming. My jam was jamming me. We were jamming each other because of this accounting. So that was how accounting came in. But eventually, I did study accounting anyway. You guys don't want to know what I studied.
We will know in the mighty name of Jesus.
We will still find out.
It will come out. But anyway, you're back to Unilag. You were the whole week. You were having fun.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go to Unilag to study. And eventually I wrote post-GTMA in Unilag, and I didn't make the cutoff mark. I think after that year, I decided to wait another year, because I was like, I don't want to go to any other school. I want to try again. So I think I wrote the exam 3 times, and the 3rd time I was just like, okay, at this point, plus I don't grow gray hair. I cannot see. And you don't know the funniest part of it. They now want you see that 3rd time. Now what's it gonna make me best with that? They can't say make I can't do your linguistics. Amy,
how can
a whole accountant
Nigeria?
A and thank God at that time they gave us 3 options. Every time, I don't know if they still do it. So when you write, you write 3 different type of exam. You write for university, you write for polytechnic, and then you write for college of education. The child village people cannot be doing you.
All
the 3, you know. So I did not write for college of education because I know that I don't want to be a teacher. I cannot teach. So
shout out to teachers.
Shout out to teachers. Thank you, my teachers. Thank you for teaching me.
But she wanted to count money, and teachers don't count money.
A teacher cannot come out and count.
That place, you're just dropping.
No, I'm just
So I didn't write that 3rd exam. So I wrote Unilag exam, and then I wrote Lagos State Polytechnic exam. So when Unilag offered me Yoruba, I said, Lagos State Polytechnic, what's your offer? And those ones said from business administration, because at that time I think accounting was not part of the. I can't remember what happened, but I just decided to, because I chose accounting for university. I was just so sure that I'm going to university. So even doing business admin for Polytechnic was just like, let me just write this exam. It should not look as if. And at that time, I think it is one exam, one UTME covers all those sections. Then you now go and write post UTME individually for each section, because your score for
UTM,
So I just said that, okay, it's not like I'm writing another jam. Let me just go for it. And it wasn't expensive. Only for me to say, okay, since university was not forthcoming, let's try. And then business admin, I applied. Only for me to print the approval letter, admission letter, and I was OTM. Me Ogbori. Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba. And I don't know how to speak in English. Can you help me? Me Ogbori.
She didn't hear it before.
I didn't hear it. But OTM, Office Technology and Management. What is technology doing in an office?
Now it's a Microsoft Office.
So I had to test a label.
Don't do that.
I put the
Wow.
the house leg inside
Please, Dara,
to go and find out
What's going on here?
OTM is.
OTM is.
And they told me it's just a modern name for secretary, like secretary.
No.
So it's actually, it used to be secretarial
So
studies,
somebody wanted to count money,
and I ended up being
office tech and management.
office tech. But she pè ní ẹ tún pè ní tech. What is tech? What is the tech in it?
You're angry, don't be angry.
Typewriter. What is the tech in it? Tech is typewriter. I'm sorry. But well, I did it, and I mean, I can laugh about it right now. At that time, it was really a very terrible moment for me.
Did you feel
I was
like,
so
I mean, you wanted to count money?
I was misled.
Now you are typing on a typewriter.
I was deceived.
What were the feelings that were associated with that switch for you?
You know, sometimes you have to give up. You have to give up some dreams in order to survive.
Jesus.
You know, when at the point when they now started offering me Yoruba, I forgot I wanted to count money. This moment, I want to survive. I want to leave the house. It has changed from counting money to let me just leave the house. Like, I'm tired of, waiting. I don't want to wait another 1 year before I get into school. So I just didn't care again. I didn't care anymore. And at first I was sad, I was crying that what is OTM? It is not, I mean, if you can't count money, at least do business, Business administration would have been more like it. And I remember somebody told me, if you study business administration, I mean, which is true, you can maybe now do accounting, advanced, or maybe masters or second degree and all that. So I was really excited for the business admin, and then I found myself in OTM, and yeah, that is life. Like I said, it felt like a failure for me at that moment. Yeah, because I was like, I really studied hard. I know how much work I did for, to write those exams, and I was so close. And the most painful part was that you will see people that didn't even have up to the score I had. And then they are appearing in some supplementary list that is from the Senate, it's from, the this and that. And you're like, girl, you could be here studying. But then, how I felt then, right now, I feel gratitude. I mean, I'm grateful that God made me experience that, because I just realized now that was like the story of my life, the journey of my life, because every single experience then has led me to where I am, who I am now, going to study OTM. ATM. So
she really wants to count money. Consistency. Oh God. Don't worry. It's really your dream. You want
OTM. So studying that, and then coming out, graduating from, having a national diploma, ND, having to go for my IT. It was through my IT program that I, got retained to do the job I did for 8 years. If I had not gone to that school, I probably wouldn't have gotten that job. It would have been like me deviating from the journey of my life. And, through that job, has exposed me to a lot of things. And look at me now, running my own business. So I just feel like we all have our story written in a book, that God has already completed. So sometimes you have to go through a phase or a journey to get to your destination. So failures will come, they are not, I don't see them as failures anymore. I used to, of course, at that moment, I was like, I don't feel. Because I started blaming myself. I was like, oh, maybe you didn't study enough. Maybe you could have done better. Maybe you didn't do this. Maybe you didn't do that. It's lots of emotions at the moment.
So I was going to ask how, so that this feels like maybe your first big stumbling block or your first big setback, right? And because of how much you had dreamt about the life, it was I'm sure it would have been like a tough realization that going from the babe that was in Unilag, just chilling.
Imagine life, yeah. I don't imagine.
And you had even tasted it. You had lived.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
I
yes.
entered the school. I don't even tell person say I be accounting student 200 level.
You already prophesied into the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like,
then
I don't dream big.
Going
I was even
there.
living the dream already before the dream.
Before the dream.
Before you woke up.
Before you woke But yeah, so how did people around you react? So because I'm sure that you must have in one way or the other communicated this dream to your friends, to your family, at the point where you felt like, okay, this baby is no more going to Unilag. How did did you get support? Did you get maybe feedback saying that you're not doing enough? Or do you think that your family really supported you and it might have helped you through that period?
So, I mean, growing up, we weren't really exposed to a lot of external, body. Like, we didn't really have a lot of friends like that, because, my parents created the type of lifestyle, to kind of shield us from a lot of external factors that can influence us negatively.
Yeah.
So, when they say, get inside, that kind of thing, that was how we grew up. So, I didn't have a lot of friends to really share that with. But my immediate family, which my parents and my siblings, they didn't really make me feel. I felt terrible for myself because you know what it is. Like, your younger ones are going to school every day. You are not going to school. You are out of secondary school. So you're at home. You are the errand girl. You cook. You do everything. Like, it's really very devastating, and it can even be depressing to be in that situation. So I think most of the emotions I had were generated from my own personal feeling about my achievement and how I feel about, being a failure, not being able to, get an admission when others are getting. Because there are some people that immediately, even before they finish the secondary school,
they have
the admission is already waiting for them.
Yeah.
Because looking at it, I actually did GCE. GCE is the one you do
in
before,
SS2.
in SS2. So I did GCE, all those ones that they say private center. I think I didn't really pass all my major courses. I can't remember the course I failed.
Probably accounting.
No, funny enough, that's why I felt like that's why
stop reminding about this accounting. The passion usually comes out.
No, forget to accounting was one of my favorite subjects. You see that passion say.
You put it inside the book.
I had decision in commerce.
Wow.
And I think I had decision in accounting. I think I had B in maths. English, not so much.
Obviously.
And do you remember that they said I should come and study? Looking at it, since morning about. Sorry, I'm switching to Yoruba.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Please have me interpret.
We will.
Thank you.
So the negative feelings did not necessarily come from other people.
No, it didn't for me. Some people it comes from from. I think where negative feelings came from other people was when after my ND program, it was just 0.3. So I had 2.7. 0.3. So upper class is 3.0 to 3.5. Decision is 3.5 to 4.0. There's no 5 points in Polytechnic. So I had 2.7. And I was crying like, you know why I was crying? I was crying because I felt like I gave all. I almost died there. And I knew that result was intentional. I'm not saying, when I failed GC, I said I failed it. When I failed something, I know I failed. That result was intentional. And it was Yemi Adekombi. So, yeah.
My surname. It's not my uncle. It's not. I can promise you.
Is your uncle electoral?
No, I am.
Lagos Polytechnic is solid.
My uncles are not. So that my uncle that bears Yemi Adekombi. The only thing I can lecture you about is women. It cannot be school related.
See this Yemi. It was only God. Thank God I joined. I had to. It was not because of me that I joined fellowship, but it was that fellowship that saved me. But I'm not even joking.
Wow.
I'm not even joking. See, that story is for another day. It's a very long story.
This is all I can do.
Like that man really.
Dara is
he was like,
sorry. Let the bread.
Thank you.
There was something you said about, I think it's very important, about being in the house and then watching your younger siblings go to school.
Yeah.
I think there's like almost like an automatic expectation from society that because you are born first,
Okay.
you should succeed at everything first. Did you feel that pressure? How did you handle it with your siblings? Because there's also that thing where you're like, now, maybe if your siblings used to fight before and there was no problem. Now, if you now fight because you're not like, is it because I'm not in school and you are not going to school? Is it? So did you ever feel that pressure that maybe they were disrespecting you because of that circumstance? And then how did you, if you can remember, how did you handle it?
Oh, well, I think at that time, what I meant by school is that they were going to secondary school.
Oh, so they were not going to schools higher than...
So, luckily for me, maybe let me put it that way, because if I had not collected that OTM, they will come and meet me there. Do you understand? Because the age gap, I have a step brother that is just like 5 months older than I am. So he got an admission while I stayed back. We're like, you can call us like twins, So maybe I definitely felt a type of way, that he had, gotten an admission, and I was still like struggling, to figure out what I want to do with my life. But for my younger ones, I didn't really feel any type of way, because of course they were going to secondary school, and
What do they know?
And that time jam they jam people.
So you're like,
it's only jam me like twice. You don't. I know person who don't jam 10 times. Because I used to meet them at we used to do jam class. No, that lecture that we used to go for before exam.
Oh, okay. What do you call that?
You see some people, they'll say, this is my 5th time of writing jam. My own still better. Not just my 3rd time. So you cannot feel bad, because some people, their situation is worse.
It's worse.
Okay, well, they are still, you're still going to give us examples of stories.
Yeah.
But on this particular one,
Yeah.
the goal, right? The success indicator here is I want to count money.
Yeah. But that was like a wrong
definition.
And that person that told me that if you want to count money, you do have counting. The person is a bad person.
How many will I give for this? I'm going to give you another one.
People don't do me wrong for this life.
Because no, if you look at, let's make a case.
No.
You say you want to count money. The only cause that has count inside is account. Say that. Let me just add 1 or 2.
You were not specific enough. You will say, I want to count money that is my own.
That is
But anyway, the goal is you want to count money of your own.
Yeah.
Now that we are mature, we know you mean like business.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the journey took you through OTM, not ATM. But
Yeah.
OTM.
Yeah.
And HR at your organization, and then whatever.
Yeah.
In retrospect, from where you are now, do you still think that journey was a detour from the money you wanted to count? Like that success that you were aiming for, would you say you are on it? You are moved away from it? How do you feel about the gap, if any, that is existing right now from where you thought you wanted to be and where you are now?
Yeah, I like I said, I said it earlier. Personally, I'm a believer. I believe in God, and I believe that He's the controller of my life in general. I used to see my life as an already written book. Personally, I'm a character in that book. I don't know what is in the next chapter because I'm not there yet. But the author of the book knows it all, And I feel like through every season of my life, I've gotten to understand this fact, and it has helped me to calm down most times and just say, okay, God, do your thing. Because every single thing that has happened in my life, from the story of, I wanted to do it, like, it was like God was say, I say you be stubborn goat. I say, they do accounting. Now this OCM you want to do. Because tell me how would somebody register I've never heard of OTM in my life. So I would never have chosen that as a course. Because how would I choose business administration as my first choice? I'm talking about polytechnic now, not university. First choice and second choice. And then Moa prints. I printed. I am now seeing OTM in capital letters. Or work basic bracket, office technology and management.
Did they say, NB, bring your typewriter?
So yeah, but I felt like it was a necessary journey I had to take to get to where I am today. Because like I said, it's just sometimes a story in your life might feel like when you're thinking, what did you learn from it? Sometimes you might not even be able to say something in particular. But it's just a journey. It's just like you want to go somewhere, but you have to drive through Ikeja to get to Oshodi. Do you understand? It's not that you have to stop in Ikeja and get something or buy something, but you're just driving through, because it might be that, it was going to help me, to wait for what is to come, or it might be it was going to direct me, because if I had not gone to do that ATM, like I said, I wouldn't have landed the job ATM. I will be saying ATM.
Let's
see, if I say ATM, it's a proof. It's a proof that you people understand. If I say ATM, Oti Jebeni, Egbaben. And then landing to HR. Imagine doing HR for like 8 years and now doing my own business. And sometimes you feel like, why didn't God just keep those parts and just give me this business? But I have to be trained, nurtured, given a lot of experiences to be able to grow enough and be matured enough to handle this particular thing that God has given me. So I feel like it was destined to be, even though at that time,
it did not look like it.
If you had found
I vexed you.
Or the person that wanted to do accounting.
God, please forgive me.
Because on site.
Thank God I not fight it. I get from you because if to say I get juju that time.
Right now, by the time you meet this, I get from you that say
you. I'll kill you.
No, if I say I didn't come in, I'll just say, pa, pa, pa.
Pa, pa, pa.
You're applying to join your Euro trip, that say, who is this one?
I didn't come in.
No.
Out.
No, actually, we're children of God. So I've actually forgiven you in case you're listening to this. You did me dirty, but, God win. I'm calm.
Yeah.
No.
I think a key word, right, to use was that God was teaching her to wait. So I think that there are like maybe small scenarios that God creates as like models of maybe bigger problems that we'll face later in life.
Yeah.
And then if you are able to, it's almost like a training center.
Do you remember David? He trained with the cub.
Yep.
He trained with the lion.
Yep.
Before he went to train with the lion.
Yes.
I have an auntie that is always saying, Pims, think of this as the cub and the lion. Think of it as the cub and the lion training. It's always like that. It's just that as you are fighting the cub does not feel like cub, right?
It feels like Goliath.
Yeah.
Never dealt with this cub before.
Yeah.
So both of us are gonna die on the line. But
and then imagine, so even that using that scenario, I mean, when you were battling Mr. Yemi Adekombi and OTM.
You see, right? I did not forget that name.
Yeah.
I did not remember some of my friends' full name. But that Yemi Adekombi.
He must have told you, Pepe. So that was your lion, that was your cub. And you were doing it alone. You were facing it, you were battling alone. Now that you are if you confront a problem with Globetrotters, for example, now you have an audience, you have people watching you, and the way you address it almost feels like, this person is a pro. But she trained for it.
Yeah.
And there was no audience then. It was just you battling it. So I
think that particular time taught me how to be very resilient and also to stand on my morals. Because I had a very friend I could call my best friend at that time. And she wasn't very good academically. And before exam, we usually go to a church. So everybody that attends that fellowship, there's a particular big church that they give to us that you can come and camp there for, I think, 2 weeks to exam. So we do group reading. It helps us because some of us, we are coming from different homes and we
Yeah.
cannot read. And it's Polytechnic, you don't have like
Proper libraries. or
hostel
something.
in the campus and all
Okay.
that. They even have libraries, but if the hostels sometimes really help because we are with
Yeah.
like minds
Yeah,
and you can
yeah.
study together. So that was the platform they created for us. And I told this girl, let's go there, let's read it. She was like, when you feel like you failed even before the exam. And I told her, I don't have that mindset. Like, we have not even written the exam yet. So you have the opportunity to learn. She was very terrible with shorthand because shorthand was like one of our major subjects then, and typewriting as well. So she was not good with
Sorry, I
shorthand.
just had to say something now.
We could.
That you went from pa to pa.
You are a distraction. Please
I'm
continue
sorry.
your story.
I'm sorry.
So I told her, yeah, let's study together. And, we're studying together, but I think she's somebody that demands extra attention and investment, So she wasn't really cashing out. And because she has given up on herself, she wasn't open-minded. But we sure did the best we could do. So after exam, she came out, she was crying, I failed. I said, you have not failed. Let the result come out. So after exam, we go home for a break. And I realized that during that break, she was going to school to see him. To see him. And at the end of the day, I found out she was like,
Yeah.
with
Mr.
him.
Yemi Adekombi.
To cut my
Just
long
hope
story
you're
short,
safe
this is
now.
my friend, This girl had the opportunity to see different people's results. Actually, she was exposed. Yeah, she told me the results I had because funny enough, I'm very confident in myself. See, if I know say I don't know a course, I know say I don't know am. But that's your time sure for me. Me say you go dey dictate like this, I go dey, So I know after she told me people that will have carryover that she has seen the list. And I said, did you see my name? She now said, I'll show you the 1 minute. Why are you asking? You already know that you are a decision student. I just asked. And thank God I asked because that was how God exposed them to me. When the result came out, this girl had 45, I had 45 over 100. So apparently
There was a tampering.
Tampering. So you definitely cannot have decision because it was sure that you failed. He only helped you to carry over that course. Now you now ensure that I came as low as you just for us to have the same score because we are best of friends. That moment was really very, if I wanted to like compromise my faith or my morals, I'll probably also go and do the same thing she did.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I fought him in prayers instead. And that was how I could not, at least I graduated, even though he ensured that upper class, I didn't have it.
You know what the string I'm seeing in all of this from your story, what you're sharing is, if you do your best, you have a target in mind. You do your best. And for some reason, your best didn't really best. Because she's a believer, that's her journey. I'm a believer. She's a believer. All believers are not shy about it. But anyway, because you're relying on someone who has already written your story. There is that ability to recline and say,
at that time, I was not relying. No.
Of course.
At that time, I was struggling. But now, I can,
the end goal.
Yeah.
Are you counting money now or are you not counting money?
Yeah, even counting.
Now, machine, they even count
Too
my
much
money.
money.
The money is too much. I cannot count it.
Currencies that.
Let me now shock you. Should I shock you? Do you know that I worked for 8 years? They did not get my certificate.
From that school.
Till now, I have not collected the 2.73 GP that I cried my ass over. Till today, I never collected them from last protest.
God is hilarious.
So you know how God works. But that time I was really crying. I was kneeling down in the office of the secretary of the department. I said they should call. I said I want to call this result. That they should call for all my script. This is not my result. They advised me. They said, don't stress yourself. They now asked me that, what did you do to this man? They said, don't stress yourself. Say, this man, if you fight him, I said, okay, no problem.
You know the proverb that comes to mind? When Nigerians say, God is the God that will use the egg to break the palm kernel in order to shame the stone. Because you were busy stressing. Now, you actually never even needed it. Someone might even argue that you could have just stayed at home.
Because I actually gave them,
like,
what I gave them was statement of results and like completion of But even the certificate, some organization will say, go and get the
go and
certificate.
get the
Till
certificate.
I left, I now enrolled into that Unilag where I go. But now I went as a matured girl. I didn't go and be shaking my bum, you know.
And you really wanted to shake your bum.
Yeah, at that time, I really wanted to.
Can you be
But
serious?
I now realized that they deceived me with accounting. So I realized what I wanted to do, which was business. And I went to study business administration because
amazing.
what I meant by counting money was I want to be a business
You wanted
woman.
to be independent.
I want to be
To go out
independent.
in the morning
I want
and
to
come
be
back
able to,
and count the
like-
profit of your money. Yeah.
Can we also shout out to God? Because if you had done
accounting.
Sorry, maybe you would have passed, maybe you would have failed, I don't know. But where you would have ended up, he knew what you wanted better than you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why he
Yes.
redirected me.
Yes.
Not that
Even
one.
though that redirection was not making sense, which was OTM. But at the end of the day, the end of the story makes sense, you know.
So perhaps, is it possible that a redefinition of failure for us right now is redirection?
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes when you feel like I want to go and count money that is my own and I'm being prevented from doing that,
Yeah.
is it possible that by looking at it differently as this is a redirection,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know what I want as much as I think I do,
Yeah.
but because I have a creator, I have a master hand on my life, I can trust him to take me to the truth. I'm sorry, the Bible says he will give you the desires of your heart.
Yeah.
Like, he did not say he'll give you your desire. It's like what you really trust
want.
in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart. So maybe you're still figuring it out and you're going through a failure phase right now and you don't even realize, like madam that wanted to count her own money, like you're just being redirected. That's so beautiful. I see we can stay on this just forever, but there's a particular one to hear.
Okay, so we just spent like 1 hour talking about the first one.
Yes.
So the second one, so that was like the first phase of the journey of my life. And then, you know, like as you all know, you didn't know, I'm just telling you now.
Just I wanted to cut it. I say, where do
I
you
know
know?
people wanted to be
It's
feeling
on this
like I know this
podcast
girl.
that you will just find out.
Was
Exclusive.
in between the time of IT to working as an HR, I met a friend in school. So she introduced me to this network marketing called Forever Living Products, and then I joined. And one thing I found very interesting was their cosmetics and, you know, the way they sold it. I don't know. Well, I think it's true anyways, because, you know, most of their products are like organics and everything. So they told us about the danger of using some products that, you know, chemical can make you this, can make you that. So I was sold and I was like, okay, I want to use this cosmetics. And I also found out that I love to I think do my brows. I don't know what motivated me, Sha. I shall sign up for makeup artistry, the same company, because I was interested in their cosmetics and, you know, I felt like empowering myself, learning how to do makeup is also good. So I started saving. I think my IT money then was 15K at that time. So I started saving 15K. So I was living on, my boss gave me 500 now to eat today to eat. So I ensured that I didn't touch my IT money. I saved 15K for like 8 months. I can't remember. But the training, the makeup school was 60K at that time. So I paid because it was organic product. So it was expensive. Normally at that time, it shouldn't be that expensive. So I enrolled and I paid. It was just 3 days, very short. And I got my makeup box and everything and certificate. I was like, okay, makeup artist. Makeup artist today. I will open YouTube channel.
Wow.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Actually, at that time, so I started teaching people how to carve their brows. I was very good at that. I think I learned that in the class. That was one thing that I didn't understand the eyeshadow because I don't understand how you can be green here, blue. I didn't understand that. But see,
wait, sorry.
That
you are a
brows.
makeup artist and you are here.
I'm here.
You do not understand that.
I did not understand eyeshadow now. You say music makeup artist. Understand everything.
You know, there's something about Dara. If she don't know something, she go tell you that she don't know.
Because I was not like, how will I make up for somebody and skip the eyeshadow part? That was what was going through my
But
head.
at least their brow will be perfect.
Do you understand?
You can rely on that one.
Everybody call them out. They will tell you. Today I see they carve, bro. I was leaving my company recently, and then one of our ED was like, who will be carving my bros for you?
Wow.
Me, yeah. More carve. I can carve anything. But that eyeshadow. That's why it's not that I don't like makeup, but that eyeshadow, I can't do it. Okay. So then I say, I was like, I have empowered myself, and they gave me a box of cosmetics. I cannot eat it now. Maybe I got to work.
You gotta work.
So I started collecting job from clients. The first job I collected, Mrs. Omo, one of my colleagues at work then, I think she was it baby naming, yeah, baby dedication. I can't remember our wedding. I shall went. If I show you that picture today, you can slap my face. Our brows was on flick, but that eyeshadow was not shadowing. I didn't know the thing eyeshadow was a shadow of itself. Do you know what I now hate most about that job? That I thought this was my passion. In fact, I was already saying, God, thank you for taking me to my passion. I found my passion. But when I begin to stand, I was gone.
You're standing for too long.
I was like, this job is stressing me. I don't think passion should stress somebody. I don't know what passion is, but I don't think passion should give me this type of pain.
Makeup artists when they like stand.
That was when I discovered that this was not it. And at that point, I was really very confused, because when you think you found it, you think this is the one. It's just like you say, I found the man of my dreams. And you are sleeping and the man is not your dream again. What will you do? I just gradually. So what I did was, when people say, I need you for this, I'll say I'm not available.
You're booked. You're booked. I'm booked. Oh God.
I'm fully booked.
You booked yourself. You booked
booked myself out of this profession.
I cannot come and die. Because there was even one time that I went to go and make up for somebody. And then after standing up for 1 hour, 1 hour, and they will not give you 10K. Abelo. I'm like, no.
It's not the money you
This is not the money I want to count. So I realized that wasn't my final destination, but it was my journey. You know, it wasn't my final destination, but it was my journey, because I really learned a lot from that, from that particular experience. And I also made money, because I now stopped making up for people generally. So I started doing tutorial online on how to carve eyebrows, how to carve and how to, pencil, and even, so it was a training. There was even one woman that paid me for private class. He said, all these northerners, they have money. This man just called me, said, I'm in Kano. I've been trying to carve my brows. I don't know how to do it, but I saw your post. I don't want too many people in I think it was the class I was doing then was maybe I would put people on, I can't even remember.
Your brows must have been like fantastical, because
girl,
I've never heard people come into
girl,
class to
I'm telling you, go and check me out.
Sorry, what's your
YouTube channel?
She paid me extra to give her personal training about on how to carve brows. And the carving of the brows is not just pencil and all that. It starts with blade, how to trim your excess hair and all that, and then how to apply the pencil, how to apply highlight, how to highlight it and all that. So I was really making money from that, and I realized that probably that was what God wanted me to learn then, because that was the only thing I picked from that class.
Well, I think that there's a so it's, I think in your journey as well, you've always been able to identify your strength.
Yeah.
To say, okay, this is what I am good at. But see, this shorthand, I am good at it. You cannot beat me to it. But this other side, and I think it's important that we know that you cannot be good at everything.
Yeah.
Right? You would have weaknesses. You have to identify them. And know when to stop.
Yeah.
So you could have continued taking jobs. Just, let me just...
Until you trend on Insta.
Exactly.
Sister.
So I think that for every single thing that looks like, there are deeper lessons that God was helping you learn. Today, I'm sure that even in your journey today as a businesswoman, there are some trips that you would have seen and you'd be like, I'm not sure I can do this.
No, I even tell them no.
Exactly.
I'm always happy to say no now because
Mhm.
I understand myself better. There are some people that will come, they'll say, your colleagues are doing this destination, do it. I'll tell them no.
You go be to my colleagues.
No, it go be my sister. Go and me if you're really, because people have, especially those that have traveled with me before, my loyal travelers, I really appreciate everyone, They feel like they probably cannot, they want to travel with me, but there's a destination they want to go. And it is me they want to go to that destination with. For me, I am not ready to plan that trip because I feel like I don't have enough resources to plan or enough information to go to that destination. And I'll gladly tell you no. I have even recommended a lot of them to colleagues I know. I'm happy to do that.
Amazing.
There are some people that will say, hey, because I have a client. I won't say because I have a client, then I want to create, if I don't have resources to create that market right now, I won't, So it's really very important because it helps maintain integrity because people come back to me because they know the value I give. So when they start seeing that, this girl don't they dilute her service or she can't be, trusted or, they will start going back and then looking for other options.
Another trend in your story so far that I'm noticing, and it's what you said about like the recognizing your strength and sticking to it.
Yeah.
I think there is also a higher lesson of God perhaps letting you know that I can sustain you with only manna for 40 years. If you don't know the story in the Bible, the children of Israel ate only bread like something for 40 years, no protein, no nothing. It was just that. And it's mind-boggling because you think, God, if I'm going to be a successful makeup artist, I will not do brown, I will not do eyeshadow.
Why is it only brown?
God is like, with only brown, you will make money. And same thing with the OTM that you did as well. God, if I'm going to do this, I must know how to do this. Now, back to your Globetrotters as well. You could have spread yourself everywhere, but with the one you are doing, God is saying, with this, I can keep you. So maybe sometimes what we think is failure is us facing here and insisting on this is not working, when if we just move here like this and look at what is working and stick to that, we can actually achieve success. What if that's actually just it?
You're absolutely right. Because sometimes we failed at something and then we're just on that particular thing. God is redirecting us to somewhere, but we're just like, this thing must work, say, or I rather die.
This eyeshadow must shadow.
People will even go to extra. I don't get. In fact, it wasn't even if I didn't feel so tired standing.
I might have tried to learn it.
I'm going to sharpen my skills. Eyeshadow, but I just realized that.
But this one that is really tired in Europe, if you know the trek, she's to trek.
But trekking is...
No, I'm trekking for the passion. It's to tell you that the makeup is not the passion. Do you understand? This one cannot be passionate because
1 hour standing. It's frustrating like this.
I'm like, it wasn't just giving me the joy that the
satisfaction.
There was something I realized about passion, or I learned about passion then, even though I had not found my passion. I learned that passion, it's probably something that, don't get me wrong, sometimes passion don't bring source of income, but it's probably something that would give you sustain you in terms of living and all that, but it is also something you would gladly do for free.
Yes.
Like if you do it for free, you won't feel bad. But I cannot stand 1 hour without collecting money. We died there. That was when I realized that makeup is not my passion.
It's not the passion.
Because I didn't feel that I could do it for free. I said, okay, God, I know this is a job. This is not it. Do you understand? So I ticked it off my passion. And my target was passion because I wanted to. At that stage, I felt like something was missing. I knew that there was a purpose for my life, and I was actively searching for it. But that didn't mean that I had to now stop brows because it be my so I was using brows to earn money. Do you understand? So don't feel like, oh, this thing is not a particular aspect of your life is not working, so you want to throw it away. If it is putting food on your table, my brother, my sister, please don't die of young girl. And then brows was it came very easy.
Yeah, for you.
It wasn't stressing me. I stopped collecting full makeup, even though the brow was 2K or something. If I carve brows for somebody, can give me 500 naira. I know I'm not that very ambitious when it comes to, So, like, I just kept following that step, gradually. And then look at where I am.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Counting.
Amazing.
Well, I know I told you to say 3. I'm conscious of time. So, if I may, my Lord, may I? If I may, my Lord. Can we just talk about the Globetrotters? I feel like there's been so many references to it. And now this is your passion. Yeah. This is your baby. This is your company. You founded it and everything. And to be very honest, from the outside, it looks glamorous. I don't know about you guys.
Yep, it does.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
When I grow old.
No, but I don't want to grow old. I want to be a young girl forever. But
you guys tasted 1% of what it takes to be like me.
Yes.
Now I won't die for you.
Yeah.
And you still want to be like
the trekking, Sha.
No, I'm minus. So the trekking is our own eye. The trekking is our own eyeshadow.
You can.
The trekking is my own eyeshadow.
True.
See that drawing brow?
You guys cannot choose a part of me.
True.
If you want to be like me,
I want
to be like you, luxury version.
Yeah, without the trekking.
Not adventures. If Dara tells you you're going on an adventurous trip, one lie a lie. If your leg did not venture,
your leg will beg you. Okay, please.
Like just that cool. Stop. You need to eat well to follow Dara on adventures. If you say luxury, maybe you can believe her. So just on that, it looks glamorous, it looks beautiful, and this is no cap, like the Gen Zs would say. It looks great from the outside. Do you want to? Is there any relationship with failure at all that you've had in the journey of creating and sustaining the Globetrotters that you want to share with us?
I mean, I feel like I've had series of what I would call failed moments. But in all of this, I feel like what has kept me, when I said something about when I thought makeup was my passion and I realized it wasn't. When I found Globetrotters, I was very convinced. I seek and I found. And I'm going to tell you why. So in 2018, August 2018, on my 27th birthday, I think, thereabouts. I was crying throughout. I think at that time, maybe they have started Natalie Bassi, Hallelujah. I can't remember. But I was just, when you feel like there's a void, you feel like I was working as an HR executive. Don't get me wrong. I was doing Forever Living product. It's not just the makeup. I was also selling. I sold aloe vera gel online. Like, online was like a good platform for me to sell things to even people that, I didn't really know how to talk to people face to face. I used to be a very shy person. The way I'm talking before, I used to be very, and that's one thing that network marketing taught me. And that's why I said every journey, network marketing brought out the confidence in me. All those training, even though I wanted to they forced me to become a manager, and I don't become any manager. But God, I already took what I wanted to take from it. Do you understand? So during that time, I felt empty, even though I was doing a lot. I was doing Forever Living. I was working, but I still felt like I am not achieving what I've been created to achieve. So that birthday, I cried to God. I said, God, the only birthday gift I'm asking you, just lead me to my passion. Lead me to my passion. That is all I'm asking you. And I'm not joking. In February, which is like, I think 7 months after, that was when Globetrotters came about. It just happened randomly, long story. I wanted to follow a friend to the beach, and then there was this guy chiking me on Facebook. I told him about, when a boy is chiking you, and then it's like, what's happening this weekend? And like, you're going to the beach with your friend. And I said, are you guys going alone? Let me come now with my guy, So before you know it, 2 turned to 4 turned to 6. I was now the middleman because I knew. So I didn't have a choice than to plan that beach hangout. And after planning, they all said, have you been planning trips before? I said, no. So it was after that when I got back to the office, I was not telling one of my colleagues that I saw somebody's profile, another tour agency, but she was doing domestic. So she now said, oh, if you want to join their group, that they usually hang out like every month, that you should join this WhatsApp, text this number. So I was telling that my colleague that I would like to do something like that. I want to be following them to hang out like every month. And my colleague said, why can't you create your own platform to do that? Joe, God bless him. Like, that was what he said. I was like, me? He said, yes, like, you know, you have you look like somebody that can do that. And I said, okay. And before I knew it, right there and there, like he said that maybe Agent Deep CCTV, that was I opened an Instagram because I procrastinate a lot. So if I don't hack, I might lose it. So I opened and I checked Google. What's another word? I didn't want to use tourist, all those regular word. So I checked synonyms for the word traveler. And I saw that Globetrotter was like, okay, this name's
really cool. I know, right?
I didn't even know there was like a basketball team. There's a basketball team called Globetrotters in US. I didn't know. So I thought, okay, this name sounds cool. And that was how I opened it, the Globetrotters. And that beach hangout was the first picture. The picture we took on that beach hangout was the first picture. If you scroll down, you see, that was the first picture that I posted on the Globetrotters to commit myself. This was February 2019. So I was so convinced that this is God's gift. This is what I prayed for. So this has been the confirmation that has been holding me together through all these failures and challenges. So sometimes if you are not sure, you can feel like it's the end. But if you are sure, it's just like you're in a marriage and you're sure that you married your husband. You guys will fight now, you have challenges. But it's not every time you fight that you pack your load and but you know it's your husband. So you have to find a way to resolve that situation. That's how I've been feeling. I've had this series of failures, like having to cancel trips, you know, having to change my plans last minute, different type of situations that have happened. I don't know if I can really pinpoint. Well, I think I spoke about one recently. There was a trip that I planned. I wanted to cancel, and the guy said he had already planned around it, you know, and I had to do it, and it cost me a lot of money. You know, I think I lost about $500,000 at that time, and you know, losing money. And at that time, I was in UK. I went for a conference, losing money and losing more money because I was swiping my car. And you know how UK you'll be swiping everywhere. So I was like, I should be gaining profits that would be covering for my expenses, not losing money. But in all of it, I decided to praise God. And thank God, 2 weeks later, I got the same destination, the same Zanzibar that I lost money for. I got a group of people that asked me to plan that trip for them. And I regained my money back as profit. So, you know, failure, it's not really failure. It's
if
just
it's situated within purpose.
Yes, if it's situated within purpose. I feel like even at the end of it depends on the approach, you know. But it's very difficult. It is really very. I feel like I kind of was able to handle that situation that way because I now understand a lot of things. It takes the grace of God. It's almost like the secret to life. Like when you understand some things, you start struggling with some things you cannot control. Do you understand? You just let it go. Because if you know the author that wrote the book, your novel, you know person will write down. You dey whine me.
You know, I feel like a great example, and it's going to be, it relates to all of us, including people watching. It's just, we were talking before we started recording, and we're just talking about, you know, how we see God as, you know, master planner, and even when you think you're fumbling through life and everything, he still makes his purpose known. And she just mentioned that if she didn't start Globetrotters, if she didn't plan the Europe trip in April 2024, Agent Dips and Abimbola would not have met.
And this
Proof podcast
Would
would
not
not exist.
So
this is our real founder.
I've been thinking it.
This fail proof is in this book, my book that I'm talking about. When God wrote my book, the story of my life, fail proof was inside.
Already there.
But
how will you know?
Now we know how. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So if this journey do not happen, sometimes we are clouded by emotions and we cannot see the things that God is trying to show us. The things that God, I mean, it's not our fault. Even me, it happens. So most times if I can't see it, I just say, God, oh yeah, you know what you are doing. That's what I tell him. I say, God, you know what you are doing. You know, just do it your own way. Because every single thing of my life, it's just like I saw a picture of a little girl. She was crying to her dad to give her a small teddy bear, and the dad had a bigger one just right behind him. But she can't see it.
Yeah.
That is how all of us are. We can't see it, but we just have to trust when he's not giving us that he has a bigger thing. So that trust is what I've been able to build over the years. That makes me feel at peace. Right now, no. Sometimes I don't, I made a testimony in my church. My pastor said it when I did my Thanksgiving, that I traveled to Lebanon. I think Lebanon. I can't remember the country. I traveled without money in my account.
Wow. I want to hear that one.
See, that's going to be another series. I feel like even me, I need to open podcast. Because
you can borrow our own passport.
You guys need to come back. I'm telling you, like,
are you serious?
See, when God said, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, that word is very powerful. And we are not utilizing it. Trust me, we are not utilizing God's power. I'm telling you. See, if you trust God, it sounds strange. Some people will say it's a stupid act. Really, people that plan well, they'll say it's a stupid act. But I've done some crazy things, and he has never.
There's a saying now that a man of faith and a foolish man, they look the same until you see the results.
I'm telling you, like I'm a testimony, and I can say it. Like, I remember when I went to Southern African trip. Then I was on the trip. I was enjoying myself. I did a lot of country essay and everything. And I think on the last days of my trip, on my visit, in Zambia, I now made mistake. I now carried Jota. I was now calculating. Now, sometimes in my account, before I started having business account, some money come to my account that are not really my own. So that was how I started calculating. And I realized that it was deficit.
Yeah, you're running into a loss.
I was running into a loss.
What's a lot?
And I was spending money. Do you know that thing almost messed up with me? And then a voice just told me, like, why are you worried? I mean, you've been on this trip. Why did you even take a pen? If you didn't know,
you would have just continued chopping life.
Yep.
Why did you even take a pen to calculate? Like, have I not been doing it?
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not sorry, but maybe I'm sorry. But remember in the part of the Bible where David took a census and God got angry? Have you ever asked yourself, like, the Bible actually doesn't say taking a census is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But like, God got angry. I think I read a few devotionals, or maybe it was the Holy Spirit that explained, I'm not sure, that the reason that was a problem was because David was taking that census as a way to measure his strength.
Yeah.
That, okay, if war should break out now, as I've done this census and I said I have 100 soldiers, I can rely on those soldiers. And God was like, is it not me that has?
Yeah.
So I think there have been times in my life too where, like, I've carried calculator. I want to look at my savings and I just get that prompt and I'm like, you know what, Lord, instead of relying on the money that I think is in my account right now, I let go and I do that. And it's the same thing you're talking about. Yeah. So sometimes we're so tempted to look at what is it that I can do for myself, because we really hate uncertainty. We really hate not knowing. We think that's the way to mitigate against failure. When sometimes, again, God needs you to fail to get to where you're going to. I like how this conversation is just about God.
And I want to think, I think that the place of from what you said, the first small opportunity you got to gather your friends together. And I think it's important that people, because many times, like, you never know when the small opportunity of something bigger will come. Yeah. Right? So that first trip, you could have said, guys, pay 10, or you could have said, no, all of you pay 10K when the actual cost of the item was 2K. Maybe 5K or 2K. And then you would have maximized making money over having them enjoy themselves. Now, if you did that, you would not have been able to share with Joel in the office to say, oh, this thing was so nice. I'm seeing this thing. And then thank God for friends that also believe in us and believe beyond where we are at or what we even think. Because what you wanted to do, what you wanted to do was you just wanted to follow another trip to say, let me just join.
And he's like, why not you?
Start your own.
Yeah.
And like, thank God for friends like that. And you can see, what I can see from your picture is just like God prepares like small training grounds. He shows you something small. You learn through it, and then it takes you to a big stage.
I think that's also great because, there's that tendency to look at where we are now as the height, when
Mm.
in fact in 10 years we will look back
I'm telling
and
See.
realize that this was a training
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
Like where we are now, whatever big we think we're experiencing is the lion is to come.
Yeah.
Goliath
Yeah.
is still in front,
Yeah.
and Goliath will keep getting bigger and bigger
Yep.
until Jesus
I
comes.
absolutely
So
agree.
wow. Whoa, yeah, I'm amazed. I think your relationship with failure has been so beautiful because you're someone who has been able to. There's so many things you've taught us. You've taught us focusing on the right thing. You've taught us identifying your strength and sticking to it. You've taught us admitting that, okay, I'm not good at this. Okay, can we move on? And not allowing, all that negativity to pull you. Yes, you've said you feel it, but you've also taught us that when you fail in the hands of God, He can still use it. And so it's so easy to see that God is extremely central to your story. And maybe I can dare say to anyone who is grappling with failure and the feelings associated with it, if you don't already have God in your camp, maybe that might just be the solution. Because the perspective shift is crazy. It's crazy. So wow. Agent Dibs, do you have any?
Yes, but I still want to hear a lot about Globetrotters. So I want to hear about, I don't know if you can tell us maybe your most, because 52 countries is a lot.
It's crazy.
So before, honest to God, before Europe, I never stepped out of Nigeria. And it wasn't, I wasn't looking for, so me.
Wait.
I'm serious. Before Europe, I'd never stepped out of,
Sorry.
I'd never stepped out of Africa. Like I'd been to, I think it was only one African country.
Which one?
Because I know we
Zambia.
don't accept,
Zambia.
for anybody listening, if you're coming on our Europe trip, we don't accept people that have not traveled before.
Jesus
So he
Christ.
said he has never stepped out of Africa. For
Africa.
you to know that he has been to countries, okay?
Well, not.
Start from Benin.
Well, not.
So much attitude. Oh my God.
Well, actually, it was just one country and it was work. So I didn't even get time to
Be a tourist.
because I'm so much of a homebody. I've learned to just be comfortable in Nigeria. So I wasn't really looking forward. I'm just like, okay, let's see what these people have for us.
And then they gave you snail.
Oh my God.
Don't talk about
I'm
that.
on my own
Podcast.
episode. I will talk about. I will.
Okay.
But yeah, so I want to hear
A
about.
failure of a food.
Oh yes.
Sorry.
And how I came back from it just
Yes.
last week. So I want to hear about your most, out of these 52, is there one that was your favorite? Is there one that was your least favorite? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a least favorite? Tell us about it and maybe the experience in both countries.
Okay, let me see. I think I'll start with least favorite. Do you want to guess?
No. Is it
Okay.
France?
No.
Is it the UK?
Not UK. I might want to check the list, but I mean, right now, what can only come to my head would be maybe Saudi Arabia. Actually, it wasn't least favorite because all the countries, I have a kind of open mindset that, I see beauty in the littlest, like the smallest thing.
Yeah.
But Saudi for me was, I didn't see a lot of smiling faces. I was like, I stood out. Sorry, let me use that word. I stood out, and even though I was like hijab and everything, I tried to like blend in to look as much as them, but you still see people who still like stare at me.
Make it obvious you're not
people
one
were
of them.
not as warm as some other places. Yeah, I just felt a type of way, but I mean, that does not mean I would not go back there again. But I think that would be my least favorite country. But all the countries,
Your favorite?
my favorite.
I think I want to guess.
He's not Kava.
No, not cover. It's not
Spain.
cover. I'm thinking.
Where?
Where guy did he did the thing, the tongue in that field.
Oh Jesus! Oh yeah! Tell us.
No, we're not done.
I wouldn't say is it Netherlands. My favorite. I don't
It's
know.
tough. Okay, give us your top 3.
Top
or
two.
Top 2.
Top 2.
Like if they say after this podcast now, a
Maybe
place
the
that you want.
recent one that Morocco really warmed my heart.
Oh really, Morocco?
Because they were really warm. People were really very nice.
I'm cracking my face. I've got Royal Air Maroc. Those people.
See, Royal Maroc, I agree with that. See, you should go and throw your aircraft away. Wait in that place, it has things fall apart.
Who was it that
Let me
tweeted?
not
Is
go
it Tayo? I know. No, it was Tunde Onokoya that was like,
Well,
you would
not
rather
just-
swim across the sea
Well,
than use Royal Air
I will not
Maroc.
say who.
The chess guy, Tunde Onokoya.
Oh,
He said you'd rather swim in the ocean.
And they
I
have
will
a
not
reputation,
judge.
and I think they should know by now.
They know,
Like,
they
have
just do
gotten
not
feedback.
care.
The aircraft is, in fact,
Yes.
I don't even know the one that is worse between Air Maroc and Egypt Air.
Egypt is better.
The Egypt Air that took me to Cairo. See, the plane was landing like this. We just said boo 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 boo. See, I'm not even joking. Things fell for me. Oh. You people should have mercy
No,
and be giving us good planes.
Mm.
Shout out to Qatar Airways. I'm not trying to be partial here, but
Oh, yeah.
to be
Okay.
biased.
So
And the
Morocco and
second-
which other one?
Morocco, I would always say Benin, and that is because
Actually,
You know why? I'm
Benin-
shocked that
I'm
our top two are actually African countries.
yes,
I'm actually like you've traveled
Yes,
the
I'm
entire
so
world
proud.
See,
and it's still that's
Africa
amazing.
is
it's sweet.
we have the best hospitality in the world. Like Africa is sweet. See, when you are in Africa, there's this horror, there's
Warmth.
this life,
Yeah.
life.
The
Yeah.
background
Like-
noise, the bubbliness.
Yeah.
I cannot explain
chaos.
it. I cannot explain it because it's something that appeals to my emotion. It just makes me feel happy.
Mm.
Genuinely happy.
Mm.
I'm just like, this is life. And you just see people are just living their life, and they are living their life, and you're just happy.
But they are
looking at them.
creating music, like
Yeah.
just being part of. There's nothing I love more than when I've been out of this country for a while. Once I land in Lagos, and and I start hearing, "Shut bello, okay, dear, Auntie Shema." See, it gives me so much joy. It's music.
It shows that
Yeah.
there's life here.
Yeah.
There's life
Yeah.
here. It cannot
Yeah.
just be quiet.
Yeah. So for people,
Yeah.
I mean, for people that think that the grass is greener on the other side, it's actually amazing. Someone that has traveled 52 countries is telling you
Yeah,
that our top two
Morocco,
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
African
and
countries. So
Hands down. And I really love Mexico too. Why is Mexico in North America?
they should be here. I mean.
No, for real, they should
They
be
know how
after.
to do
you
life.
Know, do you know at the market they were saying just like out for
Are
in
you
their language? Oh, I'm not joking. Epo Idumota
Can
is
we
in Mexico.
adjust map?
They need
Cut.
to
We should
come
just
here.
cut them.
So Mexico
happy
should
fishing,
be-
who can have a
so
drag
Mexico
one?
too was one of my favorite, but most of my countries have been Africa, and I mean to God be the glory. At least Africa is 54 countries, and I've done 27. So
Wow, done half of it.
half of it we've tried. We want to do
Jesus.
more.
Take me with you.
I like boasting. It's not easy.
Take me
So
with
if you hear me talk about how many countries I've visited,
Please, if you cannot talk about it, why did you now go? I beg. I don't believe in false humility. It's a waste.
Mm.
Please, it's a waste.
I can be humble, but in this one,
Don't
I
be.
cannot be humble.
Don't
It's not
be.
easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to give a parting shot, the final thing, I mean, we've said so much today. I
Yeah.
really hope everyone has enjoyed it. The final thing you would
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
to someone who is still figuring out their relationship with failure today,
Mm.
what would you tell them?
I would say, drop it. Like, don't dwell on it for too. It is okay to feel bad. It is okay to feel a type of way or have some type of emotions. Like I've had that. I still had that recently. It's something you cannot control, but know when to drop. Don't even know when to drop it. Drop it as soon as possible.
Mm.
Because the more you dwell in it, the more you start creating different scenarios in your head, and it start eating deep. And I usually say it that some thoughts actually kills creativity, because the more you quickly snap out of it and start, you now start thinking of the solution, and that makes it creative. But if you're digging deep into
You'll keep
that
sinking.
problem, you know,
Interesting.
you
That
keep-
means you will
yeah,
sleep there.
That means you will sleep there.
Mm.
So the earlier the better. And if you don't know how to do that or navigate, me, I will always say it, you know, turn back to God.
Mm.
You know, turn back to God. Like, he's the author of our story. So
He's a
I don't know.
storyteller.
It's a story, like, I don't know how better way to say it. You know, I still say it again. Like, person we know as you go end, you get.
Oh, Kuku
Why are
gave
you
it to him.
keeping? Go back to him now.
The
you
best
know.
example of follow no road.
Follow no road.
Oh. Follow no road. That's the title of this episode. C'est bon. C'est fini. Follow no road.
Just
Hey,
follow.
that's
Just follow.
fantastic.
Yeah.
If we give the mic back to Agent Dips, he had like 7.5
Yeah,
questions that he will ask you.
No,
do we
so
see our time?
oh yes, we have like 2 minutes. But I wanted to just ask for an advice for someone who is trying to get into a space like yours. Just
Like travel space.
yes, if they want to start, what would you say is the first step that they need to take?
Depends on what do you mean by start. Are they starting to
Like,
are they traveling
I
for
want to
passion
do-
or they want to do the business?
Hmm.
Because you know it is
It's
my
both.
passion.
So that's the
It's
first
both
step.
for me.
I'll take that as the first step.
Yeah.
Decide.
Decide if it's
Yeah,
a
decide
passion
if it's passion
or
if it's
business.
a
Okay,
business.
that's
Because
actually
there
a
are
great.
two
That's a
ways.
great
If
one.
it is a passion, I would say start from anywhere.
Hmm.
You don't. I tell people go to Benin, even Nigeria. Some people have not even explored the state in
Hmm.
Nigeria, and you're saying you have passion for traveling.
You
How?
Hmm.
You
Okay.
cannot even travel from Lagos to Abuja, and you have passion for traveling. Who are we deceiving?
You. So it has been a fantastic time
Yeah.
today with our most esteemed, honorable, delectable Mrs. Adenike Jundef.
Okay.
We've learned so much. We've
Yeah.
had fun. I hope you've had fun.
Yeah.
And I hope you've had fun. So yeah, it's a beautiful episode from us. Like we always say, hit the subscribe button, like, share, slide into our DMs. If there's anything in this that you do not agree with, we're comfortable with failure.
Drag us.
Drag us like small generator.
You are dead.
She will kill you, actually, but like we will try not to.
Try not to.
So yeah, I think there's no need to look for party shots. If you not take anything from today's episode, is what follow
No
no
road.
road. So until next time, see you guys.
Bye.